Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jeremy, founder of QuickMail.io.
And this is Jack from emailsthatsell.com. Today's episode is all about lukewarm email. In this shortcast, you'll learn what lukewarm emails are and how to use them to transform your outreach ROI right now. Stay tuned for tips on how to become known to thousands of prospects before sending your first email, social media hacks that you can use instantly to make yourself reply-worthy, and a new, slightly technical method for identifying your hottest prospects that you had no idea were interested before. Today, we're going to be talking about lukewarm emails, the close relative, the cooler older brother of cold email, a way to help your messages pop out even if you haven't met that person yet.
Why do you want to talk about it, Jack? Why is it important?
A couple months back, I had a new client come on board, and she was really active in public speaking at events in her industries, keynote speeches and things like that. And when we started the campaign, we had a huge success right away, tons of leads coming in. And though I'd love to take all the credit for the success, I had to say a lot of the replies were people who were just stoked to hear from that person they met at the conference or heard speak at that conference. And it played a huge role in the success of that cold email campaign. So that's what a lukewarm email is. It's sort of a way to break the ground, soften the dirt a little bit so that when you do reach out, it's not I don't know anything about this person or this company. Instead, it's oh, yeah, okay, I've heard of them. And things get easy when you can reach that point. Today's going to be a little bit shorter of an episode, but Jeremy and I are going to give you some ideas, some ways that you can go from just sending cold emails to sending these lukewarm emails, especially if you're already doing some, let's say, traditional inbound marketing, or you are active in some areas of your industry. We're going to show you how to harness that and make some better cold email campaigns for it. So there's basically two ways that you can create these lukewarm emails, or really it's just a micro relationship before you reach out, right? And the two ways that I've sort of thought about it is paid and through non-paid, or like free methods, so to speak. What do you want to tackle first, Jeremy?
Free, of course.
All right, free, of course. Let's go. And nothing's free. This is going to require more legwork.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, gosh. But it won't necessarily come out of a marketing budget, so to speak.
It's a little disclaimer, like if you don't pay for it, you pay from it in other forms, such as, time and efforts. No, I got that. Let's go for it.
Cool. So as I mentioned in the sort of intro story, speaking works really well. If you've got something to say and events popping up in your industry, go and speak, get your name on the speaking list, and let yourself be known, teach. Like, it's hard to gain authority faster than jumping up behind a podium and talking about stuff at work.
Bear in mind that you may not be the face of the business. Like, you could be the SDR of that company, and of course you can't speak instead of that person. So you could do two things. Either you actually do outreach on behalf of that person, or the other thing is you could drop things like, hey, here's a talk that our CEO did this month. And of course, this person attended the conference kind of thing. So you could just turn it in a certain way that actually makes it obvious for the other person that, oh, this is this person I met and so kind of thing.
Maybe related to doing in-person speaking events, creating content like a podcast or a blog will get you there, assuming you've got listeners or readers coming to your content. Otherwise, making guest posts for other people's popular blogs is a great idea, especially if you don't necessarily want to have to wait until your own site gets enough traffic to justify it. Instead, you sort of show up to where the party already is and, put together some great content. And the idea, anyone who has read your guest post and later hears from you via cold email should approach your wording with a closer relationship, I should say.
Some familiarity, yeah?
There you go. Even better.
And bear in mind that if you're not the type of person that likes to write big blogs or guest articles and things like that. You could still do it on a smaller scale in Facebook groups, for example. Find a group where your customers are, start engaging, start giving some thoughtful information. And then there are some tools to extract whoever is on that group, then find their contact and then reach out to them. Or it could also be Messenger, right? But that's a great way to sort of like warm up a little bit the relationship before starting it.
Another idea for you, if you've already got some inbound activity going on in your business, why not use inbound leads that have quote unquote gone cold on you? Maybe they signed up for a download, a white paper or something. They haven't been replying to any marketing messages. Send them an email with cold email software that will get a response from that prospect to just engage them maybe for the first time with them and your brand. Could be some really low-hanging fruit, an easy place for drumming up some more customers.
Actually, you could even contact people 1 year later and say, hey, I contacted you last year. I just wanted to check if anything changed since last year, kind of thing. And obviously, by default, you're not called anymore because you already contacted those people last year. So that's a lukewarm email that I kind of like.
Jeremy, do you know the famous 9-word email?
Ooh, tell me.
So the 9-word email is perfect for people who have a list of old leads that have come in through inbound, maybe originally filling out a form saying they were interested in a particular product, but then sort of went dark. It doesn't matter how long ago they gave you their information. If you send them this 9-word email, you're going to get a ton of responses. It's basically like still interested in getting blank for your company or still interested in finding a new source of leads for your company. I'm not sure if you're going to end up with 9 words, but a one sentence, a one-liner, I promise you it works. It sounds too easy, but...
Snake oil salesman.
Yeah. But okay, 8 or 9 or 10 words. The point is you send one-liner that says still interested in, and then you say what they're originally interested in. Question mark, leave it at that. You're going to get people that you haven't heard of in months right back to you saying, oh, actually, yeah, budget just got approved. Let's talk. That stuff happens all the time and definitely a lukewarm.
Yeah, and bear in mind that sometimes people have a good intention to come back to you and then just life happens, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing that I really love with that, even though it's typically just a bump email just a year later kind of thing, the other thing is it shows that, you still exist. So you're still serious about that stuff, and that obviously builds trust. So I like trust. That's the base of all business, I would say.
So I'm slightly more interested in paid methods for
Oh, hold on.
creating...
I got another one that is sort of free.
Okay, then let's go.
It may take you 3 months to do, but it's kind of free too. Is you actually go ahead and then you write a book, or you have a book already, doesn't matter. Or you could even get it with someone else's book, but then we come into paid stuff. But you have a book, you send the book to the office, just to your target audience, and then later on you engage the conversation with it. Like, hey, just wanted to make sure you received my book. I wanted to, that's the reason why I sent you the book is because I really believe in XYZ. And, I thought you could benefit from that. Did you have the time to look into that? Or some stuff like that. That will also be the reciprocity being activated quite heavily.
I've actually had somebody that I was doing some consulting for try this out, and they tried it in 2 different ways. It's maybe worth a quick digression here on the cast, but basically they tried sending like it was DVDs of the sales training for a very specific market. They sent DVDs, a book, and a spiral notebook with ways to take notes and sort of takeaway tips on each page. And that did not work. They said like nobody read it.
They gave away too much, yeah.
But they tried it a second time, this time just sending like kind of a basic physical letter that said, hey, I want to send you this like sales training. It's free. It's sort of my way to get in the door.
I love that.
Help you out a little bit and maybe just, help out your business next year. And then for people who said, sure, send it over, it was a gold mine because then those are the people who actually consumed it. They said yes to the free stuff. They were impressed and they worked together. And they live happily ever after. So anyway, just...
Did they try to send the case without the CD inside?
Oh, just to see if it got opened or to get them to say, oh, shit, you forgot your...
Yeah. Yes.
That's a great idea. Go ahead and spend the $200 gift card as you feel free, tucked in page 200,
P.S. I joined whatever the present.
Yeah.
and then it's not in the stuff.
That's interesting. Hey, maybe it would work. Maybe it would work.
Maybe. I don't know. Different cast.
Yeah.
We'll try it out and we'll
Okay.
report on that.
So let's say you got a little bit of advertising cash tucked away that you want to do some testing with.
All right.
Some ideas for you. First of all, this is going to be kind of a slam dunk for most people doing B2B cold email. Try LinkedIn ads. LinkedIn ads are cool because you can target people by like job title or the function, how big their company is, industry, and that kind of thing. And if you happen to be leaning on LinkedIn to do a little prospecting, there's a good chance you can get your ads in front of the exact people that you're going to be cold emailing. So go ahead and check that out.
We didn't mention that in the free stuff, but a lot of people, as a first step of their campaign, actually visit the profile of LinkedIn of their target audience.
Brilliant. Yep.
And bear in mind that you can actually combine those things. You can first send the advertisement, next look at the page, and next, send the email, and then see what works.
I personally wouldn't think that this makes a radical difference, but I know people who just have a software that visits LinkedIn profiles X a day, and they say they get messages back like so many times a week from people they just visit because their picture pops up, they click on the page, they're feeling like a good fit, and they reach out. So it can be powerful when combined with some cold email.
If you do that, actually really pay attention to what your title is about. Don't put like, I don't know,
SDR,
someone who loves photography and then just contact someone for doing lead research or stuff like that. And make sure that your title actually sparkles some interest from the other person. Like if they have this problem, they say, oh, maybe he's a good fit.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's like sales trainer / psychologist or something like that, where it may pique an interest, just the job title alone. Cool tip there. So beyond LinkedIn ads, Facebook has been doing custom audiences for a while. It lets you upload a list of emails and show them whatever ad you want. You can take your exact email list, ask Facebook to show them ads, and you're done. But there's a drawback with this. A lot of times we're not using our work email for Facebook. And if you have a lot of personal emails in your cold email list, be careful. Probably not the best idea if you're doing some classic B2B cold emailing.
I just heard recently that LinkedIn is also starting to introduce this sort of like lookalike audience, but I think you need to spend a really large amount of money every month to sort of like qualify to even that. So I think they will roll it out at some point, but we'll see.
Actually, that sounds familiar. It's worth a Google. Whatever it's at now, it's probably changed when the time you're listening to this, even if it's a week after we record it.
And bear in mind that actually will work for you, may actually not work for someone else. So look at what your most profitable channel is. So if it's on LinkedIn, then it may make sense to investigate all the things that LinkedIn can provide.
Yeah.
If not, it's been proven to be a bad channel for you, then maybe don't beat the dead horse and keep focusing on what works.
So I have one more. This one's a bit trickier, but it's also really exciting in a lot of ways. It's the most sneaky thing when it comes to using paid stuff to do some like lukewarm cold emailing. It's IP targeting. So the people that come to your website, but they don't leave their email address, they don't download anything, they don't buy anything, they're just gone. And maybe they'll come back, but maybe not. They leave an IP footprint on your website. And there's services out there that will take all those random garbled numbers and turn them into actual companies that they're behind. So you can find out which companies are visiting your site, which tells you two things. And it's really cool. These are companies that are a good fit, and they're companies that are already interested in speaking with you, or at least learning more about your company. So there's a great chance they'd be interested in receiving a message from you, if anything, to provide any more details or just offer a hand if they are looking for it.
And you can couple that with remarketing as well. So people will visit your website. You're going to know what lead or what agency or what company it is. But then the people who visit your website keeps on getting the advertisements. And then maybe a week later, then you target them with the email as well. So you got a lot of things you can play with at this stage if you're really into that, definitely.
And remarketing is a touch different because instead of using an IP to find a company, instead you just grab the IP and just keep showing that ads to that particular computer. And if you want to do some Googling around IP targeting, check out Clearbit Reveal. It's not the only provider in the space. There's others, but that should get you to understand what it is and to decide if it's worth giving it a try. Honestly, if you have a moderate amount of traffic in a clear B2B type website, you might want to give it a try because they're going to bring you essentially each week, hey, here's a couple dozen companies that have been checking out your business, and adding them to a campaign is pretty easy from that point on.
That's true. And the same way we were discussing about reviewing on a weekly basis all your new customers, you could review on your weekly basis all the new people, the new companies that potentially are interested into your solution that way. And then maybe you could say like, oh, those ones are just too small for us, or they're just too big for us, or whatever.
Exactly. The takeaway here is cold email doesn't stand alone in one single department. It can lean on and get help from other efforts that marketing is doing, or even if it's just you can piggyback off things that you're doing to grow your business so that your cold emails are not as cold.
Yeah, I got a last one, which is kind of like specific. If you're targeting local businesses, then sometimes, especially when they're on Yelp and those type of brick and mortar kind of business, try radio as well. Try putting some local ads on the radio that's not as expensive as some other type of ads. And that will definitely build trust very quickly because those guys are really close to me and they're playing the local card kind of thing. So that will very quickly warm your prospect for you.
No need to send ice cold emails. Sometimes you can send lukewarm ones. Get creative and soften the ground before you press send.
There you go. Love it. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, there you go. No need to contact ice cold prospects anymore. So to recap, here are a few tips for you to experiment with. First, some non-paid ideas. They include visiting a LinkedIn profile, speaking at a conference, doing some guest blogging, writing books, posting in Facebook groups, or even commenting on tweets before contacting the person. Those methods could involve some level of manual work, but they often can be outsourced, so why not? Some paid ideas include buying online ads on LinkedIn or Facebook, taking advantage of their custom audience. You can also monitor and qualify the businesses who visit your website or specific pages on your website using IP targeting services. And remember to double down on what's working. Focus on a channel that is already bringing you leads and see if you can pre-warm that same list by adding a couple of things first, such as visiting a profile on LinkedIn. And if we missed any cool ideas, do let us know by sending an email at podcast@quickmail.io.
Hey, cold emailer.
Yeah, you.
If you got some value from this episode, give us a high vibe by sharing a 2-sentence review on iTunes.
Or Stitcher or TuneIn. That works too.
It's a quick way to help other growth-minded folks like us find this podcast.
So they can send awesome emails.
And make everyone's inbox a better place. Thanks.